Remind me never to have a light there ever again.
Did the best we could, man.
Well, your best is not making me look great, that's for sure.
It's the subject matter.
Hi there, everyone. It's Shadow Puppets. Are we good? Make one of them up and set up on stage. There's a... Yeah, I want to put it next to the cat. Hey, Red, can you pop the zip tie on that and pull the thing off of it? Yeah, I figured you had the correct weapon for it. That or killing a pig. Anyway, we're all good to go? Everything's recording? Geez, it means I got to do something now. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Okay, you guys didn't drink last night, I can tell. So, hi, I'm SkyDog. In fact, I am Trevor SkydogCON Hearn for purposes of legal action. So, welcome to SkydogCON 2013. This is our third year. Wow, we made it again. So, can you imagine? We've been up all night playing with electronic badges and crazy stuff like that. So if I seem tired, it's because I am. But we had an absolute blast. So on with the show. Who's the first timer coming to the con? Oh, there we go. That's why you guys didn't drink last night. You'll learn tonight. So why SkydogCON? I don't know. Is little Scotty Moulton in here? Probably not. You guys will get to meet little Scotty Moulton. So the history of the conference. This being the third year, it's not like I pulled this out of the blue and decided to start one and didn't know what it was going on. I've actually run conferences for quite some time. I've done. I used to run Freaknik, which was here in Nashville. I've run Outer Zone, which is the longest running donation-based conference in the United States. It's hitting its 10th year right now. It's down in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm on the basically staff for ShmooCon. I work CarolinaCon, DerbyCon. I'm a goon for DEF CON. So I've done a few of these, and eventually I'll get it right. The boom, boom, everyone on the staff's going, yeah, right, sure. So the history of the conference, I was with Freaknik, which is a smaller sort of a culture con thing here in Nashville, and I basically got ousted out of the power structure. I went my own direction, and I decided that what I wanted to do for Nashville was something a little higher end. If you've been to DEF CON or ShmooCon, they are very high-end professional conferences, lots of really good information, lots of fun people to talk to. So I decided I would rather move that direction. So in my disheartened state, I called my buddy Scott Moulton, and I said, Scotty, what am I going to do? Man, what a day. And he says, the hell with it. He says, start your own con. Okay, so done that before, no big deal. So why would I want to do that? And he says, come on, man, just start your own con. You know what you're doing. Everyone will have a blast. And I said, okay, what are we going to call it? And Scotty says, call it SkydogCON. I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. You don't understand. I can't name it after myself. There's a problem with that because everyone's going to give me a bunch of crap. And he said, well, the key to that is no one can take it away from you. So I'm not selling SkydogCON in 10 years for a profit. I'm not going to be the guy who shows up and makes an appearance and waves. This is what I intend to do for quite some time. So in 10 years from now, if you guys want to come hang with me, I'm going to be doing the same thing again. So we blame Scott Moulton for all of this, Michigas. Scotty really gave us some direction and made us get off our butt and put this together. As such, he has to show up every year and talk and hobnob and have a good time with everybody. So the gist behind SkydogCON is this. SkydogCON is everything we love about hacker conferences, okay? So I've been to a bunch of them. I have a general idea of what works and what doesn't work, depending on where we're at, who the people are, how this goes together. So it's everything that I love about the different conferences I go to. It's also none of the bullshit I hate. So there are certain things about hacker conferences that can get to be a real pain. Elitism is a pain. Basically, you can walk up to any of my staff, any of the people here, and start a conversation. No one's going to be a jerk to you. We're just here to have a good time and to share information. The future of SkydogCON is at least how we foresee it. Lots of fun, lots of good information, lots of good people. Which direction it goes depends upon you. You guys have to let me know what you think about it, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. If you have good ideas, I'm open for that too, as long as the stripper con doesn't work. I've tried it before. Jeez. Whew. So, who are we? Well, we're the attendees. As much as it sounds like the guys on the stage, the guys behind the board over here, that we're SkydogCON, we're not, okay? SkydogCON is you guys. Everyone in this audience, everyone who's now sleeping a hangover off, everyone that attends the conference is the conference, because honestly, without you guys, it's the schmuck on stage with a bunch of equipment and an empty audience. It doesn't matter at that point what I do. You guys are the important portion of this. So just, I'll thank you a lot for this over the course of the weekend. SkydogCON is also the sponsors. David Lipscomb is right outside the door. They're going to be having some fun later on with a little Halo tournament thing. We have Lightning 100, which is going to be upstairs. Tenacity's here. We've got a whole host of people that are sponsoring us this year. They allow us to have a lot of fun. The vendors also, we have Hackers for Charity and also Ace Hackware in the next ballroom over. You stop by and check in with those guys. They got some cool stuff. It is also the staff and agents. Anyone that's in a blue shirt that has a red tag on is a member of staff. If you see a gentleman or lady in a gold shirt, similar graphic but black, with the same kind of staff badge, they are an agent. Agent is code name for enforcer. No, basically they're our hospitality staff. They make sure no one gets into major trouble. They keep you from going places you're not really supposed to go and getting in trouble. And they'll also make sure you don't consume too much alcohol by taking it from you and drinking it for themselves. SkydogCON is also the speakers. We have plenty of really great speakers this year, some good information. These guys may be next door. They may be from the East Coast, the West Coast. They may have traveled overseas. Who knows? But we've got some really great speakers this year, some very interesting talks. We spent a lot of time deliberating over them. We also have the core team. So there's a core group of people that started this with me from the very beginning. They have listened to hours and hours of me nitpicking and complaining about things that I want to be perfect. Then convincing me that I need to deal with it and shut up. Isn't that right, Max?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. This is Mad Max, the gentleman with his hand raised right here. This is the gentleman who goes out and gets all of our sponsors and also sits up all night and does drag soldering on all of the badges. So come here, round of applause for my boy Max. Because when we get...
I have a blue staff shirt, but I'm still wearing the clothes from yesterday. I will get around to putting it on.
Drag soldering, is that where you wear your dress while you solder?
Yes, actually it is. He's wearing it underneath the pants. It's all, the way he does it all the time. What can you say? So we're all SkydogCON, honestly. If this group of people, I hope to talk to each and every one of you over the course of the weekend. I'm going to be running around doing a lot of stuff, but if you see me stop for a moment and I'm breathing, come up and say, hey, I'd appreciate it. I'm not Dave Kennedy. I don't give everybody a hug, but I'll shake your hand, maybe grab your butt or something like that. But it happens. It happens. You'll get over it. Rules of engagement. So actually, last night, this next slide was really funny. This morning, it's not as much. We were doing SkydogCON 101 last night, so don't be a jerk. Everyone in this room has their own speciality. What you do might be something that someone else wants to do. And if they approach you and ask you a question, just be cool and help them out, because you never know. There's somebody out there that is doing what you want to do. And if you walked up to them and they were a jerk, geez, man, I mean, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe that's your life's calling and you got shut down by somebody. So just be open to shooting the bull and talking to people. It's all good. No one, if anyone's a real big jerk, just let us know. We'll take care of it. Please don't take pictures of people without their permission. Now, there are two gentlemen running around. This gentleman right here, this is Dev Otto. He is our official, unofficial staff photographer. He is not documenting you for the FBI. They already have pictures of you. It just happens. What he is doing is he's doing you the service of taking the pictures of all the fun that's going on. So when you get home and you realize you've taken 3 pictures of the weekend, he's got it covered. So round of applause for our staff photographer. We have one other gentleman that's running around. He should be, if he's not here already, he'll be here in just a few. Has anyone ever heard of Oleg Volk? Then I've got to really talk to him about his status in the community. Anyway, no. Oleg actually is a very popular photographer for guns and women. So don't start Googling him on your phone because you never listen to another word I say. So do what?
Looks like me, so.
Oh, it's Ted. Hey, Ted, how you doing? That's Oleg's father. So where is he?
He's trying to get his electronic badge from.
Oh, okay. Well, you can't have it yet. So anyway, he can try really hard, actually. This will be fun. So the general rule behind photography is if you happen to pull your phone out of your camera, heaven forbid you're still carrying one, and you snap a picture of someone, please respect their privacy. If they happen to walk up to you and say, hey, actually, I don't want anybody to know I'm here, which I would probably do the same thing in a lot of situations. If they say, do you mind deleting that photograph? Be kind and go ahead and delete it. Now, if they're in a compromising position, you can use it later on for blackmail. Hey, you're on your own with that one, really, because they were doing something stupid to begin with. No. But anyway, if someone says, hey, if you don't mind, deleting that picture, we do have certain people in our community that do not like to be in photographs at all. Dev and a bunch of the people that do the photography know certain people that just don't desire to be in a photograph, and they make sure they're not because we respect your privacy, except we're going to be sniffing the wireless. Anyway, don't connect to anything wireless. This is a general rule of thumb. If you're going to do anything where you pass anything in clear text, or we can strip the SSL and get to it, just don't connect to it. And if you do, when you get home, just wipe your laptop and start over again. The wireless in any HackerCon really isn't to be trusted in any way, shape, or form. Is that pretty much the right thing, Dave? Did you bring a laptop?
Yeah.
You did? Have you turned it on yet?
Yeah, it's got all your data on it.
Oh, okay, cool. I was wondering because I got to back this up, and it's Dave loves me.
Anybody needs backup of their data, just ping me later.
There we go.
It's free.
He's sweet. Dave, a round of applause for Dave for backing your data up. There we go. Don't leave your Bluetooth on. Has anyone ever heard of Pony Express? PWNIE. Okay. Pony Express puts out a Pwn Pads. You guys have seen those. They're a Galaxy Nexus 7. I know that there are 3 of them in the building. I'm carrying one. I think Knight's carrying one over there. And one of them is being, or has been delivered for us to give away. It is a very nice $900 device that comes with a Sena Bluetooth adapter that with the right antenna can, supposed to be able to get you from a mile out. So anyway, I'd turn your Bluetooth off right now. So that's just a general rule of thumb when you go to a hacker conference. So anyway, who knows what the 3-2-1 rule is? Other than Dave. Okay. It's not 3 tequila. No. Get at least 3 hours of sleep. If you're new to conferences, you're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on, but please, at least 3 hours. You will only go psychotic if you get less than 3 hours a day for a couple days on end. So 3 hours of sleep, at least 2 meals a day. We have a restaurant. We have a grill downstairs. Half the time someone's running around with something they'll share with you, but at least eat 2 meals a day. And at least 1 shower a day.
What are you looking at me for?
I've already had mine today. Yeah, this is true. Pardon me. Yeah, this is a standard issue for any hacker conference. We all say the same thing. We're all professionals, but we all get a giggle out of that anyway. But make sure you take care of your health, because if you run too hard all weekend long, come Monday, you're going to be, you'll definitely be feeling it. and you don't want to have to explain to your employer why you're not coming out on Monday. So, other things that didn't fit into other categories. Schedules for sessions and events, you'll notice that we do not have paper schedules. There's a good reason behind it. You guys don't ever buy your tickets up front early enough for me to know how many people are coming, so I either print 10 or I print 2,000. And there was a project on Radio Shack DIY where I did an electronic cornhole game, and if you flip to like page 35, you can actually see where I was using last year's programs as masking material for everything I was spray painting. So we decided to go without a paper schedule this year. You can get to everything online through your phone. In just a little while, we're going to have some TV monitors, actually the ones back in the back corner over here, that'll show you the schedule and the events and things that are going on, making sure you know everything that's going to be happening. So you can pay attention to those, or on the phone you can get to the schedule. We have the expo area. If you go down to the end where the registration desk is, there's a set of steps that go down. There's actually an area down there that's being set up that has 3D printers. I think they have a 3D digitizer. Some other fun toys. I think Sonny may have brought his quadcopters, which I hope he's not running them in the room down there. But anyway, whatever he wants to do, he's more than welcome to. There's also the hardware hacking area. So the nice part about this is once we get the badges all settled out and we start handing them out to people, you can go downstairs in the hardware hacking area and play with the badge, and not by pushing the buttons. You can actually add dollar cards and things like that to them. So if you've never soldered before, don't let that stop you. There's plenty of things that you can play with that we can help you in a controlled environment without you hurting yourself. Who's ever picked a lock before? Okay, who's not picked a lock before? Before the end of the weekend, you have to go downstairs and pick your first lock. It is a really fun, everyone who's done that, is it the funnest thing you can ever do with one hand? Two hands, I'm sorry, 2 hands. If you've never picked a lock, it's an interesting revelation. First time the hasp pops open and you realize, dude, I just stuck 2 pieces of metal in this thing and opened it up. Nothing is ever safe again. So if you've never picked a lock, make sure you go down and talk to the guys and you get that experience. If you've picked before, go downstairs and play around for a while. They've got some cool games for you to play. Who's got their ham ticket in the room? Okay, not all of us are old timers, but what can you say? We have some spaces left, I believe, for the ham radio exam. If you want to, you could actually study in less than 24 hours and get enough to get your tech license to carry a ham radio and speak on it and all those fun things. So if you're interested in that, catch up to some Ninja Master. He's wearing a yellow shirt. If you're interested in doing that, so we can get you into the mix, but we started a tradition where we always do that, where you actually can take the ham exam and walk away at the end of the weekend with actually your ham ticket. That ham ticket sounds like a really, really screwed up sandwich or something. I don't know. You'd hit it? You're tired, Red. That's the reason you'd hit it. The Pirates versus Ninja Ball, that'll be tomorrow night. Costumes are optional, but are welcome. Everyone probably got an armband that says Ninja or Pirate. It is not that we're segregating you for a disposal later on. We did that for fun, just so you can fly your colors and say which party you relate to. So we're going to have a DJ and some music, and there'll be a bar and fun things like that. You guys missed Dragon Day. Who got to see Dragon Day last night? A decent smattering of people. I would like to watch it at some point in time. I just seem to be too busy for it. We may do another showing of it sometime, depending on if we got some open time or not. The awards ceremony and SkydogCON free breakfast. All right, something's free. A lot of conferences will close down on Saturday evening, and then we try to cram everything in with the awards ceremony and all the other fun stuff while you're trying to get out the door and get something to eat and get a good drunk going. So what we decided to do years ago was to actually do a Sunday morning breakfast. So you get up in the morning after having consumed alcohol, and you have a good Southern breakfast with eggs and bacon and sausage and potatoes and everything that makes you feel better after you've abused your body all night long. So that's going to be on Sunday morning. We'll do all the awards for the competitions. We'll do an auction and some other things. So we've got a lot of cool things to give out. What we want, other than a different Batman, anyone want a good Affleck reference there? We want you to have a good time. I don't want you to show up and not hang out and do interesting things with people. engage other people, see what they're up to, poke them in the eye if necessary. I want you to learn something. If you make it out of this weekend and you don't learn anything, either we need to put you in charge of something because you're the smartest person on the planet, or you haven't talked to anybody because there's some really cool people in this crowd. I want you to network. You never know when the guy that you're chatting with has an open position and you got the skills that they need. So you might as well start talking to people and see what's up. Tell us what you liked, what you would change, and what you hate. Now, I'm a big guy, but I'm actually really a sweetheart. If you do come up and you tell me what you hate, I'm not going to get mad at you. Actually, I'm keenly interested in what you do and don't like about the conference because it allows me to give you a better experience if you let me know. Now, if you scream it at me, I might choke you. But for the most part, I'm real sweet and I'll listen to you. At 1:30 today, we'll do the explanation of contests, which we have a crypto contest, we have the Lego contest, the Minecraft contest. There's plenty of things to mess with on the badge, so that's coming. Swag, you guys got your SkydogCON tumblers. You got your little thing where you can write your name on it. If you sit it down and someone brings it to you, drink from it at your own risk. The Hackers for Charity dog tags, the dog tags that you got in your bag were handmade by people in Uganda. The people there are with Hackers for Charity, and we made a donation in your name, and they made dog tags for all of us. So those actually are hand hammered out of aluminum pots, and every one of the letters is put in single letter at a time, owing to the straightness of it. The guys from Hackers for Charity, we wanted to do something nice for them and wanted to give you guys something so you didn't have to worry about whether or not you donate or not. We just went ahead and took care of that. Now, they'll have a booth over here where they've got some products that were made over there out of leather and things like that that are really cool, but we thought we'd do something sweet about it. The swag bags, you got two different designs to choose from. Who got the Go Hack Yourself? And everybody else got the red one? Okay, you guys are really tired at this point, I guess. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the restaurant up here. We have the grill that's downstairs. We talked to them and said we want to make sure that everyone can get in and out in an hour or less because we don't want you to miss a talk or around lunchtime. Or if you just happen to need to get in there and get something to munch on, it'll be a lot faster. News and updates. We will have a lot of things that is on the at SkydogCON Twitter account. We'll make announcements and everything from there. The Duplicity Capture the Flag competition that's downstairs. They'll be doing things from their Twitter account so you can keep track of what they're up to. Actually, I can't remember the email address for it. Actually, I don't think we set one up. Anyway, I've got something to do after I get done here. We will put on the TVs and everything. If you take some pictures you think are hilarious and you want to put it on the website or the Facebook page or anything like that, you can send them to us. We'll be collecting them and putting them up. They may possibly show up on the big screen in between talks, depending on how crazy they are. So anywho, I have rambled through this as fast as possible. These two gentlemen sitting on the couch, can I have a round of applause before they do anything?
Thank you and good night.
Yes, hey, all right. This is Redvers Davies and Chad McFall. Is that correct? Okay. I don't want to screw that up because I don't have enough sleep. Red and Chad have put together the coolest con badge I've ever touched in my life, and I've seen a lot of electronic badges. I tasked them with putting the badge together in a 6-week time period, which is really interesting. When you see what they've put together, it is incredible. It does some of the coolest stuff. I've only got to play with it a little bit. They won't even tell me all the stuff that it does. That's how much fun they've had with it. They're going to come up and give you a breakdown on the badge, and I'm going to go hide in the crowd for a little bit. And you guys, you coming up here?
Yeah.
All right. Hurry every chance you get.
The VGAs. You people with your longer legs. Thank you.
You people lower to the ground where it's easy to pick stuff up.
Benefits to both.
Hi, everybody. I'm wide awake because I haven't slept yet. Yay. The electronic badge. word of advice. If you see this gentleman here dressed up as a goon and he says, hey, can you help with run. Run.
And if you see this guy here in your office space and he says, hey, you want to help me build a badge in 6 weeks? Run.
Yeah. So, 6 weeks, SkydogCON came up and he said, hey, can you got a group of people building a badge, an Arduino-based badge. Can you, do you want to join the team? I said, Arduinos are really hard, so, I can't, help with that. But if you guys do anything propeller-based, which is the microcontroller I specialize in, then, I'm all over that. And he said, tell me a little bit more about it. So I described to him the propeller and what it could do. And he said, he's like, well, give me an idea of what a design might look like. So I sent him circuit board renderings within a day because I just have a thing. So this is one of the badges. Like we said, we had a 6-week time frame, and so we really couldn't afford any failures. Anyone here write code and compile code? Yeah, so anyone, if you did that a number of years ago and you had a kernel compiled and it would take you a day and, it would take almost 8 hours to compile a kernel. PCB design is like that, but it takes 2 weeks. So every time you make a design change, it's going to cost you 2 weeks of time. So you cannot lose, when you've only got 6 weeks to do a project, you cannot lose any time. So every time we did an iteration, the two of us independently designed 2 different circuits and 2 different boards. Ooh, you brought them. Thank you.
Those are the originals.
So these are the 2 original prototypes. So first week, these were the 2 prototype boards. They both worked. They both worked beautifully. And then when it actually came to do the production stuff, we did another 2 designs. This is one of them. And this is a black version of the badge that you guys will have, the regular attendee badges and the early bird badges. And then the black badge, I haven't turned it on yet. There we go. And then the black badges are a different design again. So, the badge features. The badge features 7 RGB LEDs. Those are capable of blinding you. They're ridiculous. The early bird badges have 2 color OLED screens. A joystick, an A and B button, power switch, infrared transmit and receive. We have an infrared mesh network just because. We have an infrared mesh network just because. Daughter boards, which are pretty and light up and be still my beating heart. And the processor itself, like I said, is a parallax processor. It has 8 cores, so the badge actually has more processors on it than my laptop does, which makes doing lots of things at once really, really easy to program. And probably the only reason we're able to do as much as we do at the same time is because we have 8 processors, and you just divvy up the tasks among the processors. So as briefly as I can, before I said yes to the man and the lady, wherever she is, I posted to the Parallax forums and said, hey, this is a crazy idea. I'm thinking about doing this. Anyone got any advice? And the president of the company emailed me and just said, call me. We'll help with whatever you need. And if you ever decide to do designs with this particular chip, they have a phone number you can call, and anytime you have a programming problem, you can call one of their field engineers, and they will just walk you through the solution. They're just amazing as far as support's going. You just can't get that from companies like Atmel and the like. Speaking about code, would you like to give an overview?
Sure. So I've been writing code, well, this iteration anyway, since the microphone is over here. So we left Charlotte yesterday at about 5 o'clock, and we've been writing code straight since 5 o'clock yesterday till they came to my door and knocked and said, hey, we got to go do this talk thing. But anyway, it's been probably a good month and a half of just writing code and showing Red and saying, hey, look at what I can do now. And then he's like, oh, that's really cool. What if it could do this too? Okay, it does that. Well, what if it could do this too? And then it was just kind of iterative, you know, it just kind of grew into this monster that does everything now, right? It doesn't wash my car, but it does everything else. So Red can kind of go through some of the menus while I'm talking, but the idea was we really wanted to give people a way to experiment. We've gone to a lot of cons. I have an entire wall of just electronic badges and things that I've collected from various hacker conferences that just don't do much, right? They flash a couple of lights. One of the DEF CON badges had a propeller chip on it, but it was just a propeller chip and a couple of little lights. Didn't really do much. And that's great, I mean, if you just want people to wear them around your neck. But we wanted people to be able to actually sit down and learn about the processor and learn how to write code and do various other fun things with them, and maybe look at this propeller chip and say, I didn't know it could do that. I just thought it was a little badge chip that blinked lights, right? So now we have it doing VGA, acting more or less like a little computer, doing everything an old Atari or something could do, right? Plus it has better lights and a better display. So the way we've built these badges, we have headers for everything so you can access every pin on the chip. We have published some like pinout designs and everything. If you want to build little header boards to go on top of it, you can make shields just like if you went and bought a $30 Arduino or something like that, right?
I told you.
Yeah, this was one of those things where one day I walked over to Red and I said, I really like where we're going with this badge, and he said, we have a need to present some information.
Careful.
How do you
careful.
think we could do that? And so we ended up doing this, kind of a little breakout game. It gets very hard. And it's not very friendly to people, so you know, it was intended to be challenging. Anyway, there's a ton of stuff we packed into this thing. The entire time we've been writing code, I've been saying I need more longs because we just run out of space, right? And we've got 32K to write a program in, and so you got to use different methods and try to shrink that down as much as possible while still doing everything you want. Can you see? Mm-hmm. And so Red would often hear me scream, I need more longs, because, you know, it compiles, and then if it's nice, it will tell you, if it's nice, the Parallax software will tell you your program exceeds the amount of longs available in this chip. Otherwise, it will let you load it into the chip, and then your stuff just doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and you've got to figure out why. But anyway, that's what we've been doing. Oh yeah, so he's trying to show you over here. That was really awesome. I like, we made it so that we could change the colors in real time as it was moving across the badge, and just get some feedback. You can turn it down a little bit too. It doesn't have to be that bright.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. There you go. Is that better?
And we had some features that would turn those lights on and every now and then, and I tried to, in the code, make it so that if it was obvious the person was in front of the badge, like playing the game or something, it wouldn't blind them. But I probably missed a couple of screens. But it's been fun, and really the whole goal of the entire project was to put an electronic badge in front of people that they might actually take home and use. We've got a lot of different options on it that aren't populated right now, but you can populate them if you want. If you want to put USB on the back, then you can just plug it into your computer. You don't have to do anything special, and you can just write code for it and turn on the pins or flashlights or whatever. We're going to publish most of the libraries that that we use to make the badge do anything. So, see, now they know it's there, though.
Oh.
Now they're going to find it.
We can't give them hints.
All right. So yeah, you should be able to take it home. If you populate the USB, I think we've got some possibilities for people to do that here.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe. Maybe is the word. But if you don't populate the USB, you can get what's called a prop plug. Just plug it into this little board on the chip, in the center of the board, and you can program your propeller chip to do whatever you want. We'll have the libraries out there, or you can just search the internet. There's libraries to run the OLED display that we have. There's libraries to run the lights that go across, the infrared. Everything is out there, and you can make it do whatever you want. You don't have to keep our code on there. We've just kind of put some code on that we thought would demonstrate the features of the badge and give you a place to start from.
So what you basically have here in your hand is a propeller dev board with an LED display and optional VGA out. To get VGA out, you have to put a VGA socket on it and a couple of resistors. Down in the hardware village, we'll help you do that. So come get your hands dirty. So the first question, I'm assuming, the question's going to come, right? Why is it not around my neck right now?
Get the hell out of the way.
Are you sure now? All right.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, the reason behind that is not the fault of this man, or really me when you get down to it, other than I waited too long to get to him on that. The reason it's not around your neck right now is we had these things done overseas.
Oh, we should tell that story.
Who's ever heard of Shenzhen, China? I'll get some cash together. If you got your passport, I need you to go stomp a mud hole. Never mind. Anyway, no, just kidding. There's a 12-hour time difference. So anytime they made a change or had a question, you actually had to you had to stay up late at night and send something to them and wait for a response, which I believe you did many, many nights. Or you had to wait a day. So they ran 2 concurrent designs and did everything they could to give redundancy to everything that they could have done. The downside to it is because it's in Shenzhen, China, you can't get in the car and go there and knock on the door and say, where are my badges? So we had actually expected the badges to be in on Tuesday. And in fact, they had been shipped Saturday from China. And they should, in theory, have been in on Tuesday. They were not. Okay, so we said, hey, we're waiting on the package. Where is it? And they said, well, we sent it. And you contacted DHL and said, well, where's the package? And they said, well, we don't have it. And Brad says, I have bad news. Can you call me? And I call and say, hey, what's going on? He goes, well, they've been shipped, but they don't know where they're at. So we had some very intense negotiations and juggling, and
They appeared.
yes.
So,
I think you threatened somebody several times in Shenzhen, but
so what happens is there's 2 ways of getting stuff out of Shenzhen. You can either ship out of Shenzhen, which goes from China through U.S. Customs, or you can pay a courier, guy in a truck to drive from Shenzhen the 25 miles or so to Hong Kong, which has different legal status within China. It's a free trade thing. It's got different laws. And then actually getting stuff out of Hong Kong and into the States is an order of magnitude easier than it is getting it from China. So we always did it that way. The problem was the guy who drove it from Shenzhen to China stopped off, grabbed some food, grabbed a couple of bevies, disappeared for a couple of days, and so on, which lost us time we needed. So the badges are here. There is an issue with them which we are resolving right now. For those who are familiar with surface mount, well, those who are not, I'll just tell you basically how it works. You take a badge like this and you put down what's called solder paste, which is lots and lots and lots of tiny, tiny, tiny little metal balls in a suspension of flux, which is like a liquid chemical, which is sticky. And what you do is you cover all the pads where you're going to put components with that stuff, a very thin layer of that, and then you drop your components on top. And then you stick it in an easy bake oven, well, a not so easy bake oven, and then out comes your board because the liquid evaporates off, the solder melts, and you end up with nice solid joints. The problem with this method is that if you do it too long, then you break components. Chips will burn up, and joysticks will melt, and buttons will turn gray, and I've got examples of that in the hardware hacking room. But if you don't do it long enough, then you end up with intermittent connections. So you end up with connections that are not good, not solid. It appears that they underbaked these boards. We have somewhere in the region of 400,000 connections on these badges, and we have people who are going pin to pin solidifying these. So I ask for your patience while we work through these. Yeah, I mean, that's really the bottom line. If they came on Tuesday, then we could have done, would have been done by now. But right now, we've just got people stabbing them with hot irons.
Yes. If you happen to come by the hardware hacking area in a little bit for probably the next hour or two, there'll be a bunch of guys sitting down there working really hard. If you don't mind, don't ask too many questions, but you can watch the mayhem as it ensues. But we're going to do everything we can to get them going as quickly as possible because we want to get them into your hands so you can begin to play with them. We'll make an announcement once we've got everything allotted for everyone that's here, and we'll get everyone to queue up or whatever so we can get everyone their badge, and you should be able to play. There's a color designation. The green is actually where they prototyped everything. If you're an early bird person, who all actually, I love it. Thank you very much for doing that. That means the world to me for you guys to register early. You end up with a red badge. It's basically to show everybody that you had confidence in us. You wanted to show up, so you bought your ticket early and said, I don't care what's going on, I'm showing up to the con. Yours are red.
And they get the two-color display.
Yes, you get a dual color display. The top is yellow and the rest is blue. So you get something really different from everyone else because we want to say thank you for registering early. If you waited till the last minute, you get a white badge. Nothing wrong with a white badge. It has just a regular blue display on it. It does a lot of the same things, but we basically wanted to make sure everyone got one. We could have left the display off and been jerks about it, but Red said, no, let's just put one on everything. So it's
My fault.
Yeah, his fault. What can you say? Now, the one that he is actually showing you up here is the Uber badge. Is anyone familiar with the Uber badge system? Okay, all of us old timers here. So the Uber badge is black, and these particular badges are gold plated. So if you have in the past been awarded one for either winning a competition or you've been awarded one for doing something special or outstanding, or you win a competition this time, you will end up wearing your black badge. They are absolutely beautiful. They've done some really great work with the different layers of copper. So everything that's exposed is actually gold plated. They were hand assembled so that none of the gold was tarnished and covered with solder. So these gentlemen took great care in making sure you got a really cool badge if you're a black badge holder. We will be giving some extra ones out this year for competition. So I'm not telling you to get off your dead butt and actually do some of the competitions, but the idea behind the black badge is, one, it's sort of a status thing. I did something above and beyond and got the badge. And two, it gets you in free for life, which means you show up every year, you flash your black badge, here's your ticket, you're in no matter how many people have shown up. You walk into the door and you've got your admission. So, what the hell? Actually, is there a liability thing I got to worry about with that?
That's why we gave people the ability to set their own brightness.
Oh,
Not other
okay.
people's.
So if you blind yourself, it's your own damn fault. So we wanted to make sure you had something really cool to play with, and that actually was electronic. Well, okay, that's not really the right thing to go either way. But give us a little bit of time. We're going to go downstairs and knock a bunch of them out. Someone wake up Mad Max. He's trying to sleep now. It's terrible. We're going to do everything we can to make them work as quickly as possible and get them to you so you can play. during the course of the weekend, I'm going to ask people for a round of applause for people who have worked their ass off for us. These two gentlemen have done more than I can ever imagine, so.
By the way, does everyone here know the significance of the fish?
Yes.
Okay. For those who don't know, for those who woke up here after being dragged here unconscious, you're actually in a hotel called the Hotel Preston. And one of the things the hotel will do is, if you're lonely, which you shouldn't be at a hacker conference because you should be being social and saying hi and making friends and influencing people or just socially engineering them, they will actually give you a fish for your room. They'll give you a bowl with a little fish in. So if you desire the comforts or, then the hotel lobby will actually have a fish for you to keep up in your room.
So we tried to give everyone a fish.
So we tried to give everyone a fish in advance.
Very cool. Thank you, guys.
On with the show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Chad, you're a scholar and a gentleman.
Thank
Here's some Adderall. Get to work.
I have half a can of Red Bull left.
There you, yeah.
Oh.
Hurry.
Oh, questions?
Other than the massive parallelism you can do in programming for parallax, what's some other development advantage for that versus like say the AVR?
Would you buy him a beer later on and ask him that question? That's not like a 2-second question.
Try the decaf.
No. There you go. No, seriously.
You're asking what the advantages are of the parallax processor versus an Arduino?
Yeah, or
Right.
AVR based stuff, yeah.
Okay, so
Or parallelism.
that's really it.
That's the huge thing. The big thing for me is, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to do this quickly
No,
you're good, you're good.
because they're
This is
awesome.
Curtis. He doesn't give a shit.
Okay. So the big thing is if you're doing a project with an Arduino or an Atmel or a PIC or anything like that, the specific hardware you have to have. So let's say you need one serial port and one I2C port and a this port and a that port. If you do it with one of those processors, you have to go through data sheets and you need to say, okay, I need this model of PIC that has the following, and you end up with a different part for, different designs. What the propeller does is it gives you 32 general purpose I/O pins, and then it implements serial and I2C and all of that in software. And so you don't have to worry about, so say for example you were to try and do that with an Arduino and you were to try and bit bang serial. The moment that your Arduino gets an interrupt, well, your serial is now hosed because it's just interrupted you right in the middle of a byte. Whereas with a propeller, you can just say, okay, here's some shared memory between the processors. I'm going to write a buffer here, and then you just have one of the processors read the buffer, just wiggle the pin, read the buffer, wiggle the pin. And quickly about the VGA stuff, it will do high resolution and full color VGA. The reason it's low resolution and black and white is because we are mirroring what's on the display here. So it's capable of doing a lot more. We just made sure we're just mirroring this.
Is development just straight up C, or is it simplified C, like Arduino uses simplified C?
There are over 200 languages you can program it in. But the main languages are C. They've now got a GCC port of C for that. That's fairly new and still in beta, but really very good. And then there's assembly, and then there's a language called Spin, which is a higher level language. Very easy to use, very fast, and the assembly is mind-blowing. I love it. It's so easy to write.
Anything else? More questions?
Why are you hand soldering instead of rebaking?
The reason we're doing that is because the display is soldered on the back with an FPC, which is a flexible PCB connector. We actually tried to reflow it by covering it with Kapton tape to see if there'd be enough insulation that we could just bake them. There wasn't, and we destroyed one of the displays doing it. So we either touch all of the components or we unsolder the FPC, bake the boards, and solder the FPCs on. It's very, very difficult to resolder FPCs back on because once they dry out, they crinkle. You can't flatten a crinkled piece of circuit board
So
anymore.
that's important for anyone in the hardware hacking village to know that the displays are very heat sensitive, so it doesn't take much.
And also additionally, if when you get it, you do accidentally break your display, there's actually a header on your badge so you can solder the Adafruit module, so you don't actually have to, trouble yourself with a really, really, really difficult soldering on the back. There's a through hole version like this, which you can just get from Adafruit.
I popped that display. I've been doing a lot of development, right? And since they're battery powered, doing a lot of development, it's all battery powered. I have to swap batteries every day, right? And it's expensive. So I just pulled a 9-volt adapter apart and wired it up and plugged it in and did it wrong and burned up the display. So anyway, instead of desoldering the display and putting another one on, going through all that deal, I just put a little header on. I figured other people might want to use the header too, so we just left it on the final design, and if you get one of these little Adafruit displays, you can just plug it in. Works.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice? Hey, it's sold.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up to the podium is Curtis. Hi, Curtis. How you doing, sexy?
Awesome.
Yeah, let's go.